you like Shitsville.
Don't you move. You stay seated right where you are, or I'll blow your brains through your ass.
The gun is empty.
Yeah?
Hello everyone and welcome to the Beauty of Popcorn, and today we're going to talk about the movie The Hitcher.
Heading west on the long, lonely highway until he'll wish he'd taken his mom's advice.
In a connection with the release of the remake of The Hitcher 2007, I decided to share out something about the original Hitcher from 1986 film here. In Hitcher, a young man from California, Jim Halsey, picks up a rain-soaked stranger, John Ryder, who is, by the way, Rutger Hauer, on a deserted road. Almost immediately, Ryder declares himself a maniac who has just stabbed the last driver who gave him a ride. Now he is going to do the same with Jim. After Jim mans up with the courage, throw up Ryder out of the car.
I don't want to die! Yeah! Yeah!
He suddenly finds himself running into a crazy hitchhiker on the road again. Ryder ambushes and kills the other drivers, taking their cars and tracking Jim down. He manages to accuse Jim of murders, and soon the long highways of Texas are crossed by armed, threatening police officers ready to capture Jim alive or dead.
Stand where you are! He's in there! Get your ass on the cement or we open fire!
The film did poorly at the box office in the United States, garnered devastating criticism, although it is instantly became a cult in the Soviet Union. Perhaps the fame of this movie went from the Soviet Union because even now The Hitcher has high ratings on both sides of the ocean. The writer Eric Red said that the idea of the movie was born when he was just like Halsey, the main character. He engaged in overtaking cars.
Yeah, I was about 24 or 25 when I sold the screenplay. I wrote it when I was 23. I'd moved from New York to Texas. I'd grown up in Manhattan, and I kind of wanted the change of scene. And when I got on the road, I drove. I did an auto drive away, just like the character Jim Halsey does. That's how I got the idea for that. And back in the day, there were services that you could deliver a car from point A to point B, anywhere around the country.
He heard the famous composition
Riders on the Storm
by the group The Doors. The true Ryder acted as the personification of faceless and elusive killer on the road, which was mentioned by the group The Doors, hinting at a non-fictional person, the famous Billy Cook, who killed those who picked him up on the highway. After all, what makes The Hitcher stand against the background of ordinary genre samples about criminals traveling through American land? The authors were not really satisfied with the trivial explanation of the events. First of all, the wild actions of John Ryder, 42 years old Rutger Hauer, who achieved his first fame in his native Netherlands but has already settled well in Hollywood, creates a truly spectacular image. His character is not just a hitcher, but an emotionally unstable scumbag or a psychopath with obsessive ideas, classified by an extraordinary mind. John Ryder, whose identity the police are unable to identify, appears to be genuine fiend, the embodiment of evil. You're a smart kid, figured it out. Ryder answers to Halsey's desperate questions.
You're a smart kid. Figure it out.
Putting a coin on each eyelid, like on a dead man. And the outcome of the battle cannot be any different, especially after the barbaric massacre of Nash. The only person who believes in Jim's innocence is Nash, Jennifer Jason Leigh, a waitress at a diner where he stops to call the police for help. Soon, she and Jim are on the run from justice, and Ryder is still on their tail. Actor Thomas Howell, who's by the way Jim Halsey, the main actor of the movie Hitcher, admitted in an interview that he continued to be seriously afraid of his colleague on the set, even after the comment "cut" sounded.
Experience was very intense, and I was a young actor with limited skills and limited tools at the age of 18. That was put into a very life-altering situation. I mean, as I'm talking in my real life, not in the movie. I really had to deal with Rutger, who was just very intense, and that was possibly the peak of his Rutgerness, if that makes any sense. And He was a very intense, very intimidating person.
I would say that it was Hauer who managed to get closest to the type of maniacally obsessed personalities who will soon, after the image of Hannibal Lecter, be associated with Anthony Hopkins. The picture would definitely have lost a lot if another performer had been taken for the role of the Hitcher. I couldn't figure it out a long time. What the hell kind of maniac is Rutger? He's a very friendly guy with a kind and warm look. The children are crazy about him. Everyone who was on the playground ran after him as a tail, and he communicates with them amazingly. And then I stopped understanding what was going on. We are shooting a scene with the Quens. He doesn't do anything scary like that. His eyes are ordinary, laughing eyes. When I watched the same scene on the screen, my God, where did his monster come from? I do not know who to believe, my own eyes or the camera. Maybe the camera is so in love with him that it does everything for him. I can swear of one thing for sure. There was no face and those eyes in front of me back then, which then appeared in the frame. I wasn't afraid of this guy on the set, but looking at him from the audience, I was really scared, said Howell, the performer of the role, Jim Halsey. The Hitcher points out on a very disturbing fact. Terrorized innocent Jim, in the course of his relationship with Ryder, also becomes bloodthirsty. A real suspense this movie is. After watching him, you will never take a Hitcher on the road. Rutger Hauer plays his hero so brilliantly that you begin to seriously worry about his mental state. Why do I need stunts, said Rutger Hauer. At one time, the champion of the Netherlands in a motocross with his favorite Honda Goldwing. In the Hitcher, he performed dangerous car stunts himself, which surprised many invited stuntmen. It wasn't without its troubles, of course. Jumping on the windshield at the end of the film, the actor knocked out his tooth with a heavy shotgun that slipped out of his hands. What do you want? Asked Halsey.
What do you want?
I want you to stop me.
Answered Ryder. According to the director, the film seems to be lost in time without any clear references to the exact dates. The motivation of the Hitcher's actions remains unclear to the last, as his origin.
Where are you from?
Disneyland.
That is all. Jim Halsey does not realize that Ryder has already opened the gates to hell for him and that they are destined to go through this hell together. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Like if you liked it, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment. And see you in the next episode.